Hello, welcome to the Costco residence, Cooking with Chef Nika. At home, we have a special and a little bit different kind of recipe for you today. We're doing an English style pot roast to celebrate Victoria Day weekend. English style pot roast, from what I understand, is a bit different from the American style because it's more liquid using beef broth. If you want to kind of follow me here, I'll show you the ingredients today that we have put on. So over here, we have, first of all, the pots. We're doing this two different ways this weekend in my family. We have our good old standard Dutch oven, which has been used very, very well and washed up. Rather large profile in the oven. Done lots of pot roast, lots of braising in this winter. And we have our standard crock pot. Nice heavy base, ceramic base with a nice tight locking lid. We'll try one in this as well. We'll do one. And then I have the ingredients here. So first off, I have, let's decide afterwards, nice blade roast with the Metro. Got a beautiful 4-pound roast. My family will devour this. It's huge. Smaller groups, students, smaller households, 2-3 pounds is probably fine. Just adjust your cooking time. It should just fall apart pretty much on you. I'll put this down for 1 second over here, closer to where this is. And I'll turn now I'm gonna sear this while I explain the vegetables and do the prep for you. So right here, I have my pan. Not my favorite pan. I'm gonna use it a little bit right now. I'm gonna put it onto medium-high heat, let it heat up. I'll show you the rest of the vegetables.
Make sure people know to post their comments, questions.
Yes, please post any questions you do have. So I have a pound of mushrooms here. I have a pound of radishes or potatoes. Realize that if you're not making this today, the potatoes you do prep and add in, if they even are coated in oil, they will brown. So maybe a side of potatoes, or take your potatoes and add them in just before you put this in a crock pot or the oven to cook. We're not doing potatoes in my family. We'll do a version for friends of ours with potatoes. And we eat potatoes for Tuesday when we're going to take all these little vegetable leftovers and make bubble and squeak, a traditional English leftover dish. That's going to be just fantastic. So the radishes we're using instead, they cook out like you wouldn't believe. They have the same texture, except they don't have the tartness, the very pungent flavor is gone. It tastes like nothing. But it has the same kind of texture as a potato when they're cooked. They're really fantastic. Savoy cabbage, either half a savoy cabbage or some Brussels sprouts, which I picked up. 2 or 3 onions. I have some garlic. I have a nice whole rutabaga. 4 to 5 large carrots. And this wasn't on the list, but I like rosemary. I can't do roast without rosemary. I'm gonna add some rosemary in mine, along with the garlic. And it's going to be fantastic. So what's going to happen now is we have and of course the beef broth. So what I'm going to add is about half this container of beef broth is about 2 cups worth into whatever pan for the braising. Remember, this dish is not for tonight unless you're eating at 9 o'clock tonight or even later, because it needs about 4 hours of cooking time depending on the size of the roast. The one comment I get from a lot of my family members when they come for dinner here is that the meat it falls apart. And yes, this is not one of those dishes where it's a beef standing roast where it is medium rare. This is a well done roast. And the nice thing about it is that you kind of cut it, have it with some Dijon mustard, some horseradish, or the drippings from the leftover from the meat, as well as the vegetables. Fantastic. So let's go over here to our pan.
Do we have any questions, Mom?
Low sodium beef broth is the question.
Depends upon your appetite and what you want to do. If you have bouillon, you have your stuff with bouillon. You can always taste everything before it goes in. It's not like you're having raw product here. You can taste the salt. Good, because we're seasoning everything as it goes in as well. We're seasoning our vegetables, we're going to season the roast as it goes in the pot as well. So you have an idea of what the end result's going to be. I'm going to put on this on low because I'm going to create some smoke. And this pan has been well abused. A little olive oil, and I put some butter in there so that it does not burn the butter. There's the butter.
want to mention your YouTube channel and I'll put
Beautiful roast.
Write in the comments, Mom.
I will, I'm going to put in
It's a bit too much fat in the pan. I'm a little over exuberant, but to do well. So we're gonna come back to this afterwards. Over here, I'm gonna start out while that's cooking with the rutabaga. This is a video with 20 minutes of prep, and this is a great meal if you happen to be busy on the weekend, doing outdoor work, maybe having a fire on Saturday, Wednesday with the fire ban, or anything else. You put this in.
Keep going. I'll watch it in there.
You put this in the oven or the crock pot, and then 4 hours later, supper is ready to go.
Questions, Mom?
Someone's asking how you ensure the butter doesn't burn.
Well, just adding a different kind of fat, so the milk solids and the fat and the don't. It will, at a high heat, it will scorch, it will burn, but it just helps to have the olive oil in there to lessen that.
There you go.
So pretty much the rutabaga, I'm taking the top, the bottom off. I'm just gonna trim the outside. You can use a veg peeler if you're having issues with that. That's what I like to do. That's going to be them off after. Let's go here while I turn this one on. This is a pretty massive roast, but you haven't seen all my kids eat. All right. Gorgeous color on there. I'm not gonna eat pepper right now. I'm gonna add pepper, just I'm gonna add some salt on top right now. I turned again a little more salt each side. You can pre-season it. I just didn't get to that. Okay, so the rutabaga. Everything is gonna be cooking about 4 hours in your oven. 3 or 4 hours in your oven or crock pot, so they don't have to be small, but semi-uniform. When I cut this, I'm going to cut these into this section. This is my big knife, my big chef knife that I have forever. I'm going to take these pieces here.
There's lots of brown flavor.
Oh yeah. I'm just kind of finding a pattern based upon the thickness that kind of works to give them similar sizing. You'll see we do the carrots afterwards of what I kind of need.
So Coach Nathan just signed in.
Okay. That's the rutabaga. Depending upon your skill level, it may take a little longer. That's okay. Again, these are not small chunks. They're rather large. Like I'm not afraid to keep so long. Do the carrots next. But I'm turning a beef roast. I'm going to give it a quick little turn here.
Oh, it smells good.
Now look at that color. Like, that is just absolutely gorgeous. More salt on there. I'm not eating pepper. I did a little bit of research. When you're searing steaks, roast at this high temperature, adding pepper, they'll tend to burn and scorch and add an unfavorable. But if you add pepper, don't worry about it. I used to do it all the time. My fan hood is on. There's a lot of smoke happening from this roast. But those are the two biggest sides. I'm going to start turning my temperature down a bit so I don't have to come back as often. And next I'm going to do my carrots. I cut the ends off. Rather impressively large carrots, I say. Put a few Willem?
Any questions, Mom?
No, oh yes, Kathy just asked, should we always brown the meat before putting it in the slow cooker?
It's a good idea. It does have a beautiful, beefy, caramelized flavor. What?
Oh, Matt Vidal just said, why, that's some serious searing. Oh, Mark.
Let's go back. Well, Mr. Mac who taught Ella in, was it JK? Or grade 2?
Oh my God, grade 3.
Grade 2, yeah.
3.
3.
3! That's some gorgeous searing happening there. I'm just going to turn this off for now because I'm pretty happy even with the sides. It's more those two sides that really get me. And make sure they get a lot of attention. I'm not afraid of salt in this one. The beautiful 3-pound blade roast there. And the new veg peeler, I'm not a fan of it. I bought it for doing ribs and vegetables and it's not as quick. This dish, once it's cooked, the hope is that you have 2 to 3 cups of the vegetables left over, as well as some potatoes and bacon and maybe some cabbage. And we'll make some bubble and squeak on Tuesday with either some sausage or with some eggs, whatever else it is. Very interesting. Very interesting dish. I am, after researching it, it is a dish that I am surprised that they're made before my life because it uses leftovers so easily and it's so diverse. Pretty much taking potatoes and combining a whole bunch of other leftover cooked vegetables into patties or one large patty. And if you're gonna love it, it's gonna be great. You know, in this household, after every big roast beef dinner, there's at least 6 to 8 cups of leftover vegetables because we all gorge the meat. Okay, side here. I'll stuff that in there. So I'm just gonna turn that meat off the heat for 1 second.
Where's the boys?
Heat's off. I'm just letting it sit for a moment. Okay. Here. I'm done with my big knife. The rutabaga is intimidating to deal with sometimes. So I like my bigger knife to chop at it. So the carrots, again, looking at the size you're doing, they're not small. I'm going to take these carrots and kind of cut them in half. This half here, I'm just going to do larger rounds for cooking. If you happen to have smaller carrots, you can, like they're thinner, you can actually make them into just like longer sections of carrots and without cutting them in half. Just that up front. Thank you, Assistant Ella.
Where's Kai?
I figured this was a pretty simple one to do. This mini all veg prep we're doing, and I'll show you afterwards what I mean with regards to the panning of this dish. I'll cut down. My veg cutter. Again, kind of small. I also have some onions, which I'll do next. And the onions, I'm not too concerned about. If you don't mind larger chunks, you can leave them large. If you want to hide them, cut them into smaller pieces, and people, the kids, your guests who want to see the large chunks of onions, my wife. Lane does not like large chunks of onion for some reason. Now half of this is guesstimation by volume. What can your vessel handle? This recipe I kind of intended for my large pot. Ella?
Yeah, it's still alive. Oh, we have a question from Chris, Dad.
Yeah.
Celery?
Yeah, you can add celery. The reason why I did not add celery today, couple of Squeak recipes I saw, it doesn't really mash down very well. So it's more fibrous. So I thought that we'd keep that out for this time. You can add celery. I have mushrooms in here, everything else.
My screen froze, sorry guys.
No worries. Onions and radishes next. Okay. And before we go too far on this onion adventure, I'm gonna take this beef roast out. I'm not normally you wouldn't put it in the same plate. It's being cooked out anyways. I'm not worried about it. So this way I'm gonna turn back the heat. I'm not gonna throw this oil out. I'm gonna take this, and there's really not much in the pan. There's a little bit of browning happening there. I'm gonna add a bit of my beef broth. Just once it heats up a little bit, I'll add some beef broth in there. I'll scrape it down, and I use that liquid afterwards to coat my vegetables to make sure that they get seasoned a little bit before they go in. So quickly, I'm just going to take my large or small onion.
Whatever you want. They'll be cooked, they'll be fine.
Okay. This is probably Saturday or Sunday dinner. We'll see. No more questions out there? Everyone seems
No more
happy to
questions.
follow along.
Plug your YouTube channel.
Talk about your YouTube channel.
What's that? Oh yes. If you didn't catch this video live, I want to catch some other videos for the Cambridge staff, students, friends, family. Mika Koskola is my YouTube channel. Do you have anything else? Really?
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, so it's in the comments. You can look it up. It is a good resource. We did some really nice recipes, quick and simple so far. We definitely love requests for some quick items. Before I have to go at those, I'm gonna take a second and just clean up this mess I made.
What the heck? Uh-oh.
What was that? Oh, it's from.
Sorry.
Just give me room temperature. It doesn't cold or hot or anything. It's just a matter of making sure that you kind of raise the pan a little bit. You can reduce it a bit as well. But the oil in this, the salt I've added, the pepper, this will go to help coat the vegetables.
Oh, we have a question.
Yes.
What kind of vessel are you using? Are you using Dutch oven, roasting pan with tin foil? Which one?
You can use roasting oven. Any of them are fine. We'll show you afterwards when we start nesting things into their appropriate vessels. It's more about the vessel size you have and how much you incorporate. The guidelines, like I said, were meant for my larger casserole dish, which is very, very, very well used. But if you have a smaller roasting pan that has a smaller profile, you may have to cut down a little bit, maybe no potatoes and have them on the side, whatever it may be. But you can always ask questions as we go. I'm going to go small on the onions here. I'm going to go kind of, not smallest, but medium. No huge chunks for my wife and kids. And again, quick knife safety tips. Whenever you're working with a knife, try to make sure that you claw your fingers in so that you don't have your fingers exposed for any cuts. Your fingers, your knuckles will help to shield yourself from any of those glances. Watch your thumb too sometimes. Okay, and then that's onions. We have some radishes. Ooh, these are strong today.
Look at the... Actually, my eyes aren't watering yet, so...
Okay.
Typically we'd be off the camp on Friday, a long weekend.
Yep, for sure. This long weekend would be a time to go to camp, and it'll be either open by now or put the dogs in a camp. So I'm gonna take these here. Again, this is for my family. This is what we're having. We'll do a different one with some potatoes. But you wouldn't believe how they have the same texture as potatoes and they taste like absolutely, even the color goes away. They turn like a light pink.
Radishes are a surprise, Paula 50 says.
Yeah, they're like new potatoes almost. Just 1 pack is fine. 1 pound of potatoes. 1 pound of radishes is fine, or a couple bunches, whatever you have. Half.
Great alternative to potatoes.
Want to turn off my pan, please, all?
Yep.
That's the only help I might ask for is my camera lady helping out with the with some of those. I'm trying to keep it real time for you guys, so no, I'm not gonna jump ahead too much. Put these away.
Charlene's saying she loves cooked radishes.
Those radishes?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like raw or cooked?
she loves cooked radishes.
Oh,
I love steaming them with some butter and salt and pepper.
yes, that's a good old trick. Love that. Okay. We're not
Smells good.
We're not too far out. Yeah, that broth is simmering a little bit in the back there. Okay, so that's just gonna be our flavor. I'm gonna add the surprises I'm gonna add in this video are gonna be a little red wine and some rosemary.
Oh,
Yeah, go
Mom.
ahead, Kat L.
Kathy's asking. Oh, 1 second. What are you doing with all the turnip, carrot, and radish ends you cut off?
The radish ends I'm gonna get rid of.
You can go in the bowl.
These guys
Yeah.
are very strong.
They're very pungent. I'm gonna get rid of the turnip because it's waxed, and I'm actually you're kind of funny. You're tattling on me. I kind of keep all my vegetable peelings for any kind of stocks I make at home. So I make a bone broth at home. I'll take these trimmings. I usually wash the carrots before, but I'll rinse everything. I'll show you my bag of
Goodies.
So a bag of goodies. So I kind of onion peels I have, celery ends, trimmings, garlic peels, ginger, I have cilantro, I have parsley. It's only been about 4 or 5 days, but this one here when I have some chicken bones or beef bones or pork, I'll take this and make a stock with it. So again, don't let it sit too long, put in the freezer even, but if you're going to use it, it's a great flavor additive.
That was a great question, Kat.
Yeah. These leading questions, I enjoy them. So there's that, and pretty much we have. I'm gonna take guys some garlic instead of putting garlic. I have my 1 pack of Brussels sprouts. These are rather large. And a quick rinse. Everything gets a quick rinse in the kitchen. Just helps to get rid of any dirt or.
COVID-19.
Yeah, you won't get rid of COVID-19, but be careful of dirt. So I cut these in half because they're rather large.
Now you wouldn't keep the trimmings of Brussels sprouts, right, for your stock? Too strong?
It depends on your flavor profile, if you like it or not. Cabbage, Brussels sprouts are relatively mild, but in an ideal world, I would not add them. Anyway, my father-in-law adds a lot of various trimmings, but it depends on like if you're doing a vegetable broth, you can definitely have and keep all these except for the wax rutabaga. I wouldn't keep that for anything.
Someone's commenting that that's a great idea to keep the vegetable trimmings.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Oh, do you want to go to a saunter over? I'll show them our celery plant.
Yeah.
This is a little
Science
this is a
experiment.
science experiment. This is a celery plant. About a week ago, we just put in water, and it's sprouting. This one's been stagnant for a couple weeks now, but this one's planted in soil, and the whole base is rotting. So hopefully, we can transplant these in the garden afterwards, and just kind of.
That's how you started with the other one.
That's kind of reusing our celery. I'm stealing Kaya did some garlic today. I'm stealing garlic because
Oh.
I want to take you.
Kathy's asking, why are you not taking off the outer leaves of the Brussels sprouts?
They look good.
They're good shape?
I don't see anything wrong with them. I really see nothing wrong with them. If they're nasty and they look brown and like some are falling off anyways. If you look at them, there's nothing really wrong with them. If you have them, they're black and spotted. Yeah, get rid of them. I call them baby braids.
Yeah.
Could use frozen as well, I suppose, but frozen ones tend to cook quite a bit faster. Just these small ones I'm going to leave whole. And that's the last one. Okay, so the Brussels sprouts are done. This is the oven.
Tina's watching.
Nice. Just a reminder, this is not for tonight unless you're going to go to bed at like, you know, have supper at 9 p.m., whatever, late.
But often you would prep this the night before and have it ready to go.
Yeah, so and that's why this is, you have 3 days pretty much, from today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday up to Monday. Now my roast is still kind of cooling. I'm doing the veg prep. When I take this here, you gotta make sure you find put a spot in your fridge to either keep the roast or to keep it cold. But pretty much, we have a separate fridge in the garage. We also have the garage as our kind of cold storage, which is it's around 4 degrees Celsius right now. It's been so freaking cold. In Toronto, I don't think it's that cold. How cold is it down in Toronto right now? It can't be.
That's probably a question Uncle Chris can answer.
Yeah,
Or
I bet
Tina.
you.
Tina's saying she's watching to get tips for next weekend. I guess this is on the menu for next weekend.
Oh, right on.
Oh, Jody's watching with the new baby.
Okay, that's garbage on there. Just take the mushrooms in some paper towel. Just try to look for any dirt and wiping it off. Any kind of offensive parts and trim off. Any stems. I just bought these just today, and they're
Rough shape.
yeah, COVID mushrooms. Let's refer to everything
Get
that's
what you get.
yeah, and you don't get upset.
That's right. You.
So I have a lot of veg, but it's amazing how much.
Oh, 14 degrees in Toronto.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
And we're about 11 or 12 here today.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty nice outside, but it was cloudy.
Better rain.
Okay, this last one I'm not a fan of. Okay. So again, I'm not too worried about the size of these mushrooms. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of... Now you may see this bowl is rather large and massive. Like there's a lot going on in this bowl. And I want leftovers for Tuesday. I want you to have leftovers for Tuesday, or if you want to look at the Bubble and Squeak video on my YouTube channel, it's going to be on Mika Koskola. And that's going to be up there to help celebrate Victoria Day, which is coming up, a long weekend. Normally we would be fishing. Luke and I, we'd be going paperboat fishing with the boys. But we're all stuck. We're all stuck at home more or less.
We're getting a few comments. Lisa says she's going to have to try the celery trick. And Jody says she shouldn't be watching because she's getting hungry. And Paula Reynolds definitely is going to add some radishes to her grocery list next week.
Right on. It's not. It could be one of those COVID. All of a sudden, it's clear up the shelves at the grocery stores. COVID.
Radishes.
COVID grace.
Yeah. COVID crazy radishes. No. Okay. So that's gonna call it quits for me. Nice bowl of vegetables. There's gonna be a lot left over unless I have a humongous party. My people. So the other thing I didn't add was in my list was some rosemary. I like rosemary with beef roast. It just goes well. That and Dijon mustard. I thought I'd keep it very simple with no Dijon mustard, just for everyone out there. But I'm adding Dijon mustard to mine. So sorry, I'm adding rosemary, but not Dijon mustard. A little red wine, and this is going to come together very simple. You'll see kind of how it layered together. It's again, this doesn't need to be fine chopped. You can use about half the equivalent amount of dried rosemary if you have that in your household. everything in that bowl is not going to
It smells
is not
good.
going to brown or oxidize. Okay, it's all going to be fine. I have just Kai did some broccoli earlier, some garlic earlier that I'm just going to give just a couple small cuts to, so you know, whole cloves. But you can put more garlic in. As well as treats, my mom used to make pot roast, and she would put whole cloves of garlic in,
Yep.
the skin on. Always the skin on, and there was like 2 heads of garlic. And you would get this treat when you have the roasted vegetables. You've got 1 or 2 of these nice roasted garlic cloves, and you just kind of suck it out of the skin. Just beautiful. Next step. So, okay, I have my drippings here. Sorry, the fats in the pan is with beef broth. I'm just gonna add it into here. I did not add any pepper at all, so I'm going to add some brown pepper to this.
Look at the big mess on the stove.
Oh, it's all fat, just to this splattered.
All of
I'm
that.
clean up cream.
That was a generous amount, and a little more of the salt, the kosher salt, in there. That should be plenty. And give a quick little pause. Now you see, like I said, everything in here will not oxidize. I'm gonna try to coat it with a little salt and pepper and some of the fat in the broth, just to make sure that it's kind of coated with some seasoning. It's gonna go into my nice, well used. I think it's Romania. I don't remember where it's from, but this is ancient.
I think it is. Or Lucy.
It's crazy. See, this is an epic almost fail. Like that's a lot of stuff in
Oh, I
there.
would have thought you would have put the roast in
That's
first.
crazy awesomely. Yeah, you can try roasting first, but again, this is gonna be fantastic. It's gonna require my roast kind of on top. Now, this is my big roasting pan. If you look at the size, sorry, my hands up there, on my smaller roaster, you get an idea of what I mean. It's more like the size of the vessel than anything else. See, this amount of vegetables and this small casserole dish are not going to kind of meld well together. You put the meat in there, and you'll maybe have half to 3/4 amount of vegetables, or a smaller roast with the fewest vegetables for a smaller vessel. There again, this is intended for my larger.
You've got a great
That's
question here.
Yes.
Do you worry about adding salt and flavoring if you're prepping it for the day ahead? Would you add the salt after? Does that matter?
It shouldn't really matter. It's not going to make that much of a difference as far as drying out. The only thing I'd add is I have some red wine. I'll forget it later if I don't add it. The red wine. And it should be more or less a self-basting endeavor. So this dish is now ready to go. Supper for Saturday to Sunday is all prepped. I think I have everything left I have from there. Again, Mika Koskela, that's a YouTube channel. You can look up all the videos. We'll have this posted up there as well. And look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for the Bubble and Squeak episode. Part 2, yes. Have a great weekend.
Oh, pictures after.
Yeah, and please send your pictures too. We look forward to seeing all your pictures.
Kathy says it's not enough red wine.
Save some for me too. Come on. Okay, off the fridge it goes. Okay, bye guys. Hey, welcome back. It's Cooking at Home with Chef Mika. Today is our part 2 of our video to celebrate Victoria Day weekend here in Sudbury. We did the English pot roast on Friday, and today we're doing Bubble and Squeak. Now you may ask what Bubble and Squeak is. I kind of paired this recipe to go with our pot roast. Every time at home we do a pot roast, the meat all gets devoured, and we left with tons of leftover veg, like carrots, Brussels sprouts, rutabaga, some celery, onion. So what we're gonna do today is I've taken some potato, and in the these, I have pound and a half of potatoes. I peeled and chopped and boiled, and that is ready to go. I just drained it. And over here, I'll show you my ingredients for today. So I got a pack of bacon. That's a whole lot of bacon. I'm only using about half that today. Savoy cabbage. I have my leftover veg, but if you want to see, I did twice this recipe on Friday. I have all this leftover veg, tons, because we did double recipe. Potatoes are, I used some nice yellow flesh, young old potatoes. Very, very nice. Nice texture for the mash. And then for later on, we have some bangers in the oven, some English style sausages. We have some leftover pot roast if the kids want some. Again, twice the recipe. And first step first is I'm gonna take this bacon. It's 500 grams. I'm gonna do half the pack because I'm not doing a humongous recipe here, but I wanted to get that smoky flavor of this. And again, this recipe does call for leftovers. Our recipe that we called for the other day did not include any kind of celery. You can include celery. You'll see afterwards how it all gets incorporated. So I'm just cutting these little lardons here. I'll turn my pan on to medium-high heat, I suppose. And all I'm gonna do is put this in the pan, and it's gonna just render the fat. And instead of throwing the fat out, I use the fat from the bacon to cook the Savoy cabbage. That's gonna help to cook that down because I just want to add some crunch, more color to my bubble squeak. The bubble squeak we're doing today is going to be a little bit different. Instead of making little patties, I'm going to make one large pan. In the same pan I'm cooking the bacon. To me, the same pan for almost everything. I'm going to take that and just brown the bottom and slowly incorporate it, and so it gets golden on bottom. Instead of making little patties, you can take this mixture that we're making afterwards and make it into little patties. And you can put some panko breadcrumbs. You can also use it for some flour and make it nice little discs and fry them individually. And so you have a nice presentation. But for home style cooking like that we're doing today, I just want to have a nice pack of kind of refried potatoes and veg with that awesome bacon flavor, a little mustard, and we're good to go. So while this is heating up, I should have preheated that pan. Any questions at all out there?
Nope, not yet.
Anyone on at all?
Yep, 5 people.
Oh, so I have my potatoes here. I'm not going to worry about making them really too uniform and pureed. I just want to give them a rough little mash.
Emma, are you on questions?
Yeah, I will be.
Okay.
Okay, I'm happy with that. That's beautiful. To this, I'm just going to add a little bit of butter to the mashed potatoes. Again, in our recipe, we never called for any potatoes. We used radishes in my recipe anyways. If you happen to have potatoes and you have enough potatoes to make this, that's fantastic. But for the most part, if I visit my place, these potatoes are very classic to this bubble and squeak style recipe. So you want to make sure you have potatoes that help to bind everything together. Okay, so play this a little bit. Come away from this, and we'll work over here. So here I took my veg, I took it out, I nuked it for a little bit just to get it softened up a little bit. About 2 or 3 cups worth of this little veg. It's gonna go in there. I'm just gonna quickly mash. Again, all those vegetables, even the Brussels sprouts, are just going to nothing almost. This is pretty well seasoned from when I did the pot roast. I don't think I have any issues at all, to a spatula, with making them flavorful, in the least. My spatula there. I'm trying to guesstimate this recipe by what I need for the size of my pan. If you want to kind of walk back this way, you can see the size of my pan. I'm going to be able to put this in my pan, depending upon the diameter, in one shot. You can always take this, throw it in, and when you decide you've had enough, you'll see when we put in ours, the remainder, you don't have to force in there. You don't want to have a pan that's heaping way over and you can't mix it because you don't want to have the bottom scorched, but you want to be able to take it and mix it. I was watching some Jamie Oliver recipes because this was my first time making this, but I watched tons of videos. And this is like a really, really, really simple recipe to utilize these beautiful leftovers. So into this, I'm going to add myself some Dijon mustard, a tiny spoon. I have a little bit of parsley. That's not in the recipe, but I added parsley in my gravy and as well as my pot roast. So a little bit of flavor in there, a little greenness as well. And this isn't ready yet because I still have to get the bacon. This bacon seems pretty lean. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get much fat from this bacon. So by the time it's cooked out and a little bit crispy, I don't think we'll have that. I think we'll have to add a little butter to the pan to help to make sure it's well lubricated. Okay, so for a moment here, I'll put this aside. Take my salad cabbage. With the amount I have, like I said, half a head, I have a lot of leftover veg. So I'm just going to use a quarter of a head of salad cabbage. If you're using a different green cabbage, it's a little more hardy. The Savoy cabbage, it's almost like a lettuce. It's very, very tender. You don't need to cook it too much to make it tender. So I'm going to just quickly take it into little half strips. Into here. My bacon is getting close. Any questions at all?
No, it's a quiet game.
Quiet game, for sure.
Maybe you can give them a sneak peek as to what you're going to do this Friday if you've decided.
Oh, I'd love to get some extra ideas from people if they have anything they want to see done.
You tell them our idea that I want to do, that me and Kai want to do.
What do you want to do?
Lettuce.
What's that?
Lettuce.
Oh, Finnish crepes.
Yes, I have had that request.
Those are really, really, really fun.
I do have a question from Lise asking what kind of cabbage again?
Savoy cabbage.
Savoy. S-A-V-O-Y.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Okay, I'm getting happy with this. I'm going to turn my pan down to medium. Now these, if you happen to make these patties classically, these patties or the fried bubble and squeak is often served with sausages and or some fried or poached eggs. Kind of like Australian burgers where they put a fried egg on top of a burger. I think it's just a brilliant way of using eggs and that lovely yolk. As soon as you put it on top of this potato and vegetable hash, you cut it through, it makes a beautiful sauce that kind of runs on top. There are other versions of the recipe where you can use a white sauce to go with this, different kind of versions, or even if you want to have leftover gravy from your pot roast, that'd be a beautiful thing to go with this. And I'm very content with that. I'm going to take, oh, actually the bacon's already in. I don't really care about the bacon fat. And some of it's not really cooked as brown as I want it, but I want to get going with the cabbage because I want to be able to show you this dish in its entirety. So I'm gonna throw it right in there.
Great way to use your leftovers though.
Oh yeah, that's why I picked this recipe as well as the English style pot roast. We did 2 different pot roasts. We did one in a slow cooker, and the slow cooker took about 4 hours at high, and then it was about an hour on low, just because it wasn't comfy with the temperature. It's a long recipe to do it. If I had to write a recipe out, I had extra time, as well as a resting method. Remember, when you have meats, you want to make sure that they rest so that they have a chance for all the water to redistribute, the juices to redistribute, so it'll become just they'll ooze out of the meat. So into here, I'm gonna have my Savoy cabbage. This will cook much quicker than regular green cabbage. I'm cooking in all this little bacon fat, which is beautiful flavor. I'll hold off on the butter. I think it should be okay for now. This pan flips all right. Not too bad. This salt and pepper on the cabbage. Okay. It's gonna be a nice treat today for the kids and myself. We're gonna have a lovely potato-based side dish today. No many potatoes in this house. Just start kind of working this in a bit to make it all come together. Mixing that Dijon mustard that's in there. The Savoy cabbage isn't too long, but it is crazy high. You see how this base, the potato really becomes part of the base of this dish. So if you heat in the mornings about doing the potatoes inside or adding them in last minute for your pot roast, you won't have any issues at all with your potatoes going black or really discolored. And just even potatoes, if they were part of your mixture, they would be as long as you kind of have that potato to kind of bind them together, I don't see an issue at all with that. The reason why I like to do this with you live is that after watching a lot of recipes online and reading some, they give you very vague description about your pan size and how long to cook things for, what to look for doneness, whether it's temperature, or a certain quality of color to it. You just don't, there's a lot of guesswork that will take out for some people out there. When your friends, family, catering staff, or students want to help out with that. So I am really content with this. Into a mixture goes my, now you could taste some seasoning. I've been doing this long enough. I'm pretty confident in this, in the flavor profile of this. There's no need to really add any eggs or binding agent, because this is the potato is going to keep everything all together.
And the nice thing about the lives is people might not cook alongside you, right,
Yeah.
Mika? They might watch after.
Yep, and my lovely wife and daughter are going to work on getting these
Yeah, where's Kai?
videos. Kai is busy.
Second video is
They're
gone.
going to have these videos spliced and put online for everyone to view together, and hopefully you can watch them both kind of back to back before you tackle either one or the other. Again, a couple hints about the pot roast if you're doing in your own Dutch oven or you're doing in your slow cooker. Again, nice, about 4 hours, 5 hours. You want to make sure that's well done. It really breaks down all the kind of tissue with that moisture and the low heat, and it makes it so nice and succulent. So into here, I'm not adding olive oil or any kind of processed vegetable oil. I had some avocado oil, just a little bit of my butter to burn. It's on medium heat right now. I'm going to take it off the heat for a little bit because it's scorching a bit. And I'll turn it down almost to low for now. And I'm going to take my mixture and add the amount that I think is comfortable for my pan. And I think I've gassed all right. I'm going to throw it all in there. I think I should be able to handle massaging this to brown the bottom a little bit.
You don't want to overfill it, correct?
Yeah, you want to play with it a little bit. Just leave this on the side because that's my nasty, dirty pan over there. So this is on, you see kind of bubbling around the sides. It's gonna, I'm not sure if they actually mean bubble and squeak comes from the term of the vegetables cooking in the pot roast or from this, but the bubble and squeak, I believe, is from this bubble and squeaking you kind of hear, which is not that pronounced, but it's definitely there. You see the fat is bubbling around. And let it sit for a couple minutes. And it's just gonna gently brown on the bottom. In the oven, I've taken a pan and I have some beautiful bangers, English style sausages that I just put in a fry pan some oil and I toss them around some color. This is not a necessity of the recipe. This is a great side dish to go with extra leftover pot roast and gravy, like I had said, a fried egg, just lovely. And let's go back in, so we'll put on their side. Just a little bonus for the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so medium heat. Some browning on there for the potato.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to get all brown, just want to get some browning bits on it. This pan, apart from what my wife says about it, is just lovely. This is a Mother's Day gift. It's a running joke. It's a running joke we have. We're very practical gift givers in this family. So we're almost at the point of, like this is maybe another 5 to 8 minutes. Depends upon the level of doneness you want, or the browning you want. But more or less, this whole thing is cooked. You have the potatoes that are warm, the cabbage is hot, the bacon was cooked, and the veggies were already previously cooked. I warmed them a bit so they'd be easier to mash. Don't need to, but there are recipes for this bubble and squeak recipe. If you want to make it from scratch, you can take your different root vegetables and cabbage, Brussels sprouts, potatoes, boil them 15 minutes or so, strain it out, quick mash, and you can make it all from scratch. Again, some beautiful browning happening there. Just because this pan is really so nice and non-stick, I'm going to go a little bit higher because I know my kids are kind of like me and they don't mind the crispy bits in the bottom.
I love crispy bits.
The crispy bits are really good. And eggs. Let's get the pan up for eggs. Might as well make supper while we're at it. Okay. So turn my pan up to meat. I think by the time this is all ready to go, we're gonna plate everything all together.
That's a good idea.
We can hit stop, record on Facebook Live, and then eat supper right away.
That's really practical.
And if you're doing this at home, you're following along, you can probably eat the same pace as us. And super flavorful. The mustard in this is going to add a beautiful acidity to make your mouth water. Again, all those flavors from the pot roast are just going to go so well.
Oh yeah, because these are the same veggies.
Yeah, this is a leftover meal here.
We have to do this more often.
We cook leftovers all the time. It's not a new thing here. Not a new thing. Get some plates ready afterwards. No questions out there?
No, it's a quiet
Okay.
game tonight. Well, you're not usually on Tuesdays.
No. Well, I hope everyone had a great long weekend. It was quiet here. Enjoyed the fire ban being lifted and had a nice little fire on Friday.
Saturday.
Saturday. That's right. We didn't have there was no fire on
Fire ban
Friday.
was still on.
That's right. Didn't have a fire on Friday. I was excited
Can we have
about it on
another
Friday.
fire tonight?
That's a possibility for sure. Okay. I'm liking this. Nice and goopy. Got some nice little bits to it. Some crispy bits here and there. I am very happy with that. Again, this can be taken and made into little patties and then cooked in some butter or some other oils. And again, panko breadcrumbs or a little bit of flour to help crisp it up a little bit on both sides. Yeah, have it your way. Okay, so I'm gonna take this pan should be ready by now.
Hopefully your eggs don't crystallize like Mama said they would.
Oh, I do 3 eggs. I don't think Mom's gonna want eggs today.
So no sneak peeks as to what we're eating Friday?
I need some requests.
We already got a request. Lettuce.
That would be fun.
And no, we didn't request it, Dad. Someone
No.
else did.
It was somewhere else.
Yeah,
It
Leslie
was.
did. Leslie Cassidy did.
I did one of those lettuce are one of those fun dishes that it's like a French crepe, but it is a little less eggy, a little less eggs involved, and they're
They're fun to make.
It's a labor of love. They require the right kind of pans. There's cast iron or a nice non-stick pan. We do it every year for the Mayfair, which we can't. That's usually happening on the May long weekend.
Mother's Day weekend.
Mother's Day weekend, yeah. Sorry.
Oh,
And,
so
yeah,
it's not
we didn't
gonna.
have
It
that.
didn't happen this year.
No. We didn't have it this year, and I have my coworker and friend Heather. She used to help me out, and we go and cook tons and tons of different lettuce for my guests. And it didn't happen, but it's one of those dishes. It's a little bit higher in carbs, that's why I don't have it very often. But it's definitely a treat. And my grandmother used to make it, and I'm sure if we make it, we'll have it start come out. We used to make it at camp on a wood stove.
Yeah.
With her cast iron pans, and she'd get up at 5 or 6 in the morning and fry and fry and fry and just in butter these finished crepes. And as having 2, 3, 6, 8 grandkids, 6 to 8 grandkids, she'd cook all morning, and then she'd have nothing left after about 5 minutes. The whole stack of pancakes would be demolished.
Now we have to make them
Well, yeah. I think we're gonna have to.
eventually.
Okay, I'm loving this. The moisture's coming out now. I turned the heat up a little bit on it. You watch the temperature. You don't have it burn so it scalds, but you want to get some nice little tasty round bits on it. My eggs. When these eggs are done, we are gonna make these plates and eat. I'm just gonna grab from the oven these sausages.
It's like breakfast for supper.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of like breakfast for supper. Again, if you have leftover roast beef, there's nothing to say what you have to have with this. I know Ella would love to have gravy in the bottom of this. Gravy in the one we like. That's what I'll do. I'll heat it up.
Yay.
Yay. Okay.
Oh, Kathy has a question.
Fire away.
What's whipping up? Do like a
What's he cooking?
like what are you cooking? Like do like how do you say it? Like a resume, Mama?
What's this?
Like can you resume what you
A
did?
resume, or not a resume, what I'm saying in French. A recap.
A recap. We do bubble and squeak. This is this potato and leftover veg from our pot roast. The sausage was extra, but I want to give people some idea of what they can serve. And these eggs in this lovely pan are not sticking at all. Thank you, Costco. Something probably I should have done before. So done to me is over the eggs. And this is just, that's exactly what I want.
Ooh.
Just a little bit hesitant at the beginning, but I turned it up a little bit. It's off now. That's got a beautiful crisp to it. Plates. Plating here. So, I'm gonna put my bubble and Squeak down first.
Charlene says, remember when we used to make hunter's stew at camp?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure do.
And hunters stew many different ways with many different kinds of meat nowadays.
And crackle
And crackle steak, yeah.
That was
Oh, yeah.
Amy's specialty.
Okay. Onto there. Put a fried egg.
Oh, is mom fasting?
What's that?
Is mom
Oh,
fasting?
she has enough, so you have lots of stuff enough.
Okay.
No potatoes for me.
No potatoes from
Oh, that makes sense.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Voila. Let's put that.
Yeah. And leftover gravy.
Leftover gravy.
Okay.
But that's about it. I think we're good. We're gonna stop right here. Hopefully you guys are doing well with your leftover dinner at home. And please watch the video, get some tips on making this at home, especially for your pot roast.
YouTube.
And if you have any questions, or if you want to reference it, look on YouTube, Mika Koskela on YouTube. You'll see our recipes we have posted there for you to go and view. Enjoy.